is Tiffany and this is my channel, Who's Your Handmaid. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Today's video is another edition of #Friday Sews. If that sounds interesting to you, stick around. As always, thank you so much to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for starting #Friday Sews and allowing all of us sewists here on YouTube to jump on board with that hashtag and spend Friday talking to you about what we've been sewing, what we hope to sew, and a little bit about life in between. Thank you, Jen, for sharing that hashtag with us all. #Friday Sews videos are some of my favorites. If you want to find more, just type in the #Friday Sews hashtag into your YouTube search bar and you will find so many amazing creators to watch. It'll keep you watching all week long, actually. There are so many wonderful videos out there. I love #Friday Sews videos. Thank you so much to each one of my friends who are returning again today. Thank you for catching up with me today. Thank you for spending a little bit of your Friday with me. It means so very much to me. Give this video a thumbs up if you like this kind of content and leave a comment down below. I would love to know what you're working on. What have you accomplished this week in your sewing room, or what big plans do you have coming up? I would love to chat with you down below in the comment section. So I was in and out of the sewing room this week. If you have followed me for any amount of time, you probably know that we are moving houses here, so that's taking over our lives. But the baby is still going down for naps in the afternoon, and I'm sneaking into my sewing room. I'm setting aside the time during nap time to come into my sewing room and have kind of an oasis in the midst of chaos. So I was able to accomplish that little dress hanging behind me. I'm going to show you that in just a second. And I learned a brand new technique. I'm so proud of myself. I tried shirring for the first time with this pattern, and I'm going to talk about in this Friday Sews episode about a beginner's thoughts to shirring. Maybe some kind of tips, like why didn't I think about that, and maybe some things that I just noticed along the way. So that dress right there is this pattern. This is McCall's 8283. I've been talking about it for many weeks now, been trying to get it kicked out. It does incorporate actual shirring. It's not elastic casing, it is actually shirring, but the instructions are actually really good. I looked up a few videos on YouTube and really I just kind of gave up on watching YouTube videos and went straight to the instructions, so they did a really good job. I made View B, the one the little girl there is wearing for Addie June. And let me just tell you, spoiler alert, it doesn't fit her. This pattern comes in sizes 3 through 14, and this packet is for 3 through 6, and this dress is too big on my 2-year-old. Addie's almost 3 actually. She'll be 3 in September. Addie did fall into the size 3 on the size chart. Let me turn it around and show you if you can see the size chart there. She fit into the size 3. However, there is quite a bit of ease in this dress, and so for the finished garment measurements, they're really just a tad too big on her. It's a tad too big up here in the neckline where the shirring is on the neckline. It's too big in the side seams, and it was too long. So I love this pattern, so much fun. I'll definitely be making more of them. She just can't quite fit into this size yet. Here's the line drawings on this pattern. Again, a super cute woven dress featuring shirring. You have a raglan sleeve. You actually sew the side seams of the sleeves together, hem the sleeves, and then you do your shirring, and then you put that together with the bodice, and then you do shirring all the way around the neckline. Can you see kind of in these pictures here that you are shirring the sleeves as well as the neckline? So it just went together really, really simply. Very few pattern pieces. It was a very simple sew, barring the learning of shirring, the new technique for myself. If you've already done a ton of shirring, this dress would be really, really easy for you. All you're doing is some hemming and some very simple seams plus that shirring, and this pattern is a win for sure. If you have a little girl in your life that would like something something like this, I highly recommend this pattern. Okay, so let me go get Addie's little dress and we'll look at it together. And here is her little dress. I absolutely love it. The fabric is a crinkle woven. It has some texture to it. This is from Hobby Lobby. I purchased this last year, last spring sometime. I made myself my Easter dress out of it, and so I went back and grabbed the last 2 yards, and that's what it took for this dress. So this dress took 2 yards of fabric. I do have a little bit of scrap left over that I could make something with. But so again, this pattern features the raglan sleeves. You have a darling little ruffle down here at the bottom, and then the shirring is incorporated at the sleeves and the neckline. So you're not finishing this neckline in any other way but shirring, which was kind of neat. I've never done it that way before. You do have to hem. You hem, you make a little tiny baby hem, and then you do your shirring on the sleeves. Same way with the top, you make a little hem there, and then you go ahead and do your shirring. So I had a really great experience with shirring. It took a little bit. It took a few times to figure out how to do it, but I caught on right away and it was actually really simple. I did put a deep hem in Addie's skirt. Let me show you here. I did a deep 2-inch hem, thinking that maybe I could make this short enough for her to wear right now. It's still too long. I'll pop up some pictures. It's just too long on her, too big on her, but it is such a beautiful dress. It'll definitely go into her closet, and as much as Mama is sad to see her grow, she will grow into this and wear it. So let me take this off the hanger and show you what the shirring looks like from the inside. I've always kind of wondered what shirring looks like from the inside, so let me take this off and show you. So I've turned my dress inside out, and I wanted to show you what the shirring looks like from the inside if you've never done this. So this is the shirring elastic thread that is in your bobbin. I hand wound that onto my bobbin, and this is what it looks like. Here are what my connections look like. This is just what works for me. I don't know if this is the technical way to do it, but at the end I tied knots at each ending and beginning. I just left myself a tail, and then I tied those two together. I did a double knot, so hopefully that will hold there. And then the neckline is very similar. Here's your rows of elastic thread. They're very neat. I think they look really neat. My machine, my Crescendo, handled the elastic thread very well. And again, here are my ties. There are the ties that I used as a way to secure the elastic thread. I didn't do that with my regular thread because I backstitched at the beginning and at the end, but I did leave myself some tails to tie some knots for my shirring thread. So real quick, let me just give you some beginner's thoughts to shirring for the first time. So I wrote some things down here to remind myself. The first one is perhaps a no-brainer, and I just wasn't using my brain when I first started to do this, but you have to ensure you're doing shirring from the right side of the fabric. You're doing it from the right side because your bobbin thread needs to be on the bottom. So if you are doing this, so if you're trying to shirr from the wrong side, your matching thread will be on the top and your elastic thread will come in through the bottom, which will be on the right side of the fabric. So that was my first mistake. I had to take out my first row because I was doing it on the wrong side of the fabric and I needed to be doing it on the right. As I said, I did hand wind the elastic thread onto my bobbin. I did not have to mess with the tension on my Crescendo, but I did lengthen my stitch length. I used a 3.5. Also, my Crescendo has an amazing feature of automatic thread cutters. I can hit a button and it will clip my threads for me inside the machine. I tried using that to begin with and that was a failure. It clips it and then the elastic thread in the bobbin would just spring out. So it messed up the bobbin, how I had it wound in there. So do not use your automatic thread cutters if you've got one of those machines that uses that feature. I mentioned before to leave yourself some longish tails. So what I did at the end, I would raise my needle when I finished my round of shirring. I would raise my needle, I would pull my threads out and then kind of pull them back in to release the tension. It's elastic thread, it's going to be stretchy, but I didn't want it to spring back into my machine. So I pulled it out to get a nice tail, but then released my tension so that I could cut those so that it wouldn't spring back into my machine. You don't want this thread getting caught up in your machine, so kind of baby it, be gentle with it, and maybe do more manual functions as opposed to all the automatic great things that these machines come with now. And then the last thing about shirring that just blew my mind was using the steam iron. The iron, I'm telling you, it's like a magic wand over shirring. You can lay it on your ironing board and hold your steam iron over it. I didn't actually press, I didn't iron it. I just kind of held it over, hovered over my shirring, and you can watch the fabric. I watched my shirring shrink up. It's like it activates that elastic and allows it to shrink into the shape and size that you need for your sleeve cuffs or your neckband. I'm telling you, it's like magic. It was so much fun taking that steam iron to that shirring. So I would definitely not skip that step if you're doing your own shirring. So again, I highly recommend this pattern, McCall's 8283. Get it for yourself if you have a little girl in your life. Quite the size range in 3 through 14, so you could make many of these throughout their growing up years. I love this little dress, and I'm definitely going to be making more for Addie June. I will be picking up the packet for the 7 through 14 when I could buy patterns again, so this was a great pattern. Highly recommend it. A couple more things that I accomplished this week were tracing off and cutting out my Kinjarling dress. So I've had the Waves and Wild Kinjarling dress on my plans for the month of June. I didn't get to it in the month of June, so hopefully I can finish it in July. I'm using this Swiss dot fabric. It's like a mint color. I picked that up at Hobby Lobby. I had 4 yards of it, and I cut out my entire Kinjarling dress, and then I had a little left over. So I whipped out another Rhapsody blouse. So I've got a Kinjarling dress cut out of the Swiss dot and a Love Notions Rhapsody. Like I've said many times now, that Rhapsody blouse is going to be my go-to. If I have a little bit of yardage left, I'm just going to cut me out one of those Rhapsody blouses and use up the rest of that fabric. It's such a great stash busting pattern. So I have 2 projects cut out. I don't know when I'm going to get to the Rhapsody. I might save it for if we have to move into the camper and I need a quick project. Also coming up is a sewing room tour. I'm going to go ahead and do it. It's going to be the before, it's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly of what's in my room right now. I'm going to show you what's working and what's not working and what I hope to fix in my new sewing room, find some new solutions. I need to do that soon. I need to record that and get it out to you guys soon because this room needs to be packed up. So today I'm going to be recording that video, and tomorrow on Saturday the packing of this room starts. Josh needs to get in here and take this wire shelving down, and then he needs to be repairing the walls. So we got a lot of work to do in this room, so I need to get going on it. So the next few Friday Sews videos might start looking a little differently behind me. It's okay, it's progress. It's gonna be chaos here for a little bit, but it won't last forever, and I'm gonna be sharing the journey with you guys. So look out for that sewing room tour coming this Tuesday. Be gentle with me, have some mercy. It's not gonna be perfect, it's not gonna be beautiful per se, but it will be real. Speaking of our house, they are making a lot of progress on the finishing touches. The flooring is done now, and I have flooring throughout my new sewing room. They have finished painting my accent walls in my sewing room, so I have 3 walls that I have painted a different color. It is kind of a greenish teal color. It's Quietude from Sherwin-Williams. I fell in love with the color. I loved it so much. So I know I'm gonna love having that color in my space. They're also hanging light fixtures. I'm buying them as fast as I can so that the electricians can hang them. Ceiling fans are going up on our outside porches. Just a lot of finishing touches are going in. We are waiting on some big ticket items. We're waiting on our septic system to go in yet. We are waiting on the power and the water to be turned on. So a lot of things to do, exciting times ahead. Thank you so much for all your kind comments about our house. You're probably tired of hearing me talk about it by now. Hopefully it won't last for too much longer, but thank you for taking an interest in our lives. It means so much to me to have someone to share this crazy time of our lives with. In next week's Hashtag Friday Sews video, I hope to take a closer look at Ellie and Mac's newest pattern that just launched this last Monday. It's called the Diana Top and Dress, and you guys know that I go on and on and on about the Ellie and Mac staycation dress. It's my favorite pattern of all time, and next week I hope to do some comparison of their pattern, the staycation dress, compared to their new pattern, which actually features some likeness to their staycation pattern. So if that sounds interesting, just subscribe if you have not done so already. Come on back next Friday and I'll be sharing my thoughts on that new pattern from Ellie and Mac. I think that's gonna do it for me this Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for spending some of your Friday with me. I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.